So we've mentioned many times, you've mentioned responsibility many times, and I think this is probably one of the crucial aspects of the third way, shall we call it, that you suggest. In a family, what should parents and what should children take responsibility for?
First of all, each member of the family has to learn to be responsible for him and herself. And since only about 10% of young people who are getting married knows how to do that, they can learn that at the same time as children.
Can you explain the difference between social and personal responsibility?
I don't know if I can explain it, but I can tell you that the social responsibility is a responsibility we have towards other people. Like, for instance, parental responsibility is a social responsibility. It's an old Christian value also, to be responsible for your neighbor also. The personal responsibility is being responsible for your own being, for your own well-being also, for your boundaries, your emotions, your thoughts, your words, what you're doing, what you're not doing. This is a kind of responsibility that our societies do not really like, but they are slowly getting used to it, because once that you have enjoyed self-responsibility, you are no longer obedient. Just one more thing. As an adult, you actually only have two possibilities. You can be responsible for yourself, or you can be the victim of somebody else. So it's a choice.
So you mentioned boundaries and limits. Modern parents seem to be obsessed about setting limits. Parents, educators, politicians, everybody's talking about it, setting limits to children. But you say that rather than setting limits to children, we should really take responsibility for our own limits. Can you say some more?
I think when they are talking about limits, they are very often talking about rules. Like, you're allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do that. You're boom, boom, boom. It's like all kinds of rules. Especially, I think it is especially painful to watch when we talk about children from 1 to 3, 4 years old. Because they don't need education, they just need guidance. Friendly guidance. But it is, as I said, it is this dilemma for the parents now that they should actually know a lot about themselves that they don't know, because their own parents were never interested. And now suddenly they have to represent themselves. They have to be personal. They have to say, I don't want this. I don't want you to do this. Or I want you to do this. And they have to be personal. They don't have to be polite. They don't have to be impolite, but it has to be personal. And I think many people here know that going to somebody and say, I want, is extremely difficult. We go all kinds of little ways around it. Would you please, could you, we have this social language which functions beautifully when we go shopping, but it doesn't function in our personal life.
So this is, you're talking about authentic language that we need
I'm
to
talking
use.
about trying to find an authentic language, but please, you have to know that it takes at least one child to learn that. It's not something you can be tomorrow. It's not something that we can learn before we get children. And that is the beauty of having children. It's all the things you can learn about yourself with them. And that is the value they can have for our lives if we allow them, if we can see the value.